going back to the program, I remember clearly how you explain fat loss in that fridge. Because tu macam super layman. Rahman have been trying to explain to me about diabetes, sugar. I always tell him, babe, aku tak faham bro. Pasal aku tak ada. I do not have diabetes. Aku tak boleh appreciate. Aku tak boleh empathize about this diabetes thing and everything else. So, but when you put it on that fat in that fridge,
freezer and the
correct
refrigerator,
I think how would you be able to explain it again to our followers?
Happy to. Okay, so we must understand that our body is designed to be able to store energy. Why? Because we cannot eat all the time, right? Unlike for example, you tengok cows, right? They graze through the day, so they really get energy through the day.
But we jadi macam lembu lah.
We are not designed that way lah.
tapi lembu ada 4 perut, kita
satu.
Exactly. Sebab dia lembu.
So our body is designed to store additional calories to be used later during periods between meals and during period of famine and starvation. This is supposedly what happens in the past during the caveman days or so, right, when people do not eat all the time. Okay, so the food are stored in two ways. One is in a easily accessible manner, something that can be gotten very easily, and something that is more dense, that means they are tighter, alright, but more difficult to get out. So that's your fat, right? So whenever you eat, you start storing the thing that the hormone that helps you to do this is insulin. Whenever there is a rise in glucose, alright, and amino acids and your fats, the protein will start to come up, alright, and you start to store. Primarily, they will store in your liver first, right? Especially all your glycogen. Okay, not just liver, of course your muscle as well. They will store in your muscle glycogen, so your liver, and then of course anything addition will be stored as fat. That means you have to do it extra. I mean, you have to do it extra. You have your savings account that you use for expenditure, and of course your investment, right? You simpan. It will be more difficult to get out, but I think it's CPF. It will be more difficult to get out. Okay, yeah. So during most times, we try to whenever we are not eating, we draw from the liver. I'm not saying that we don't draw from the fat, we do, but the process is a bit slower. It's more from the liver, but the liver, every time you draw, by the time you eat again, you store the liver in the liver again. Right? So that's your fridge part. So this fridge, in and out is very so you do not access your fat, which is in the freezer, very often. That's what I'm saying. Not often at all, because for you to be able to access the fat in your freezer, alright, you have to firstly exhaust as much of your glycogen in your liver as possible. So when you exhaust your glycogen in the liver, okay, your blood sugar drops tremendously, right? Because remember, liver, one of its primary role is to keep our blood sugar constant. So whenever we use anything, the body uses energy and take glucose from the blood, the liver will replenish it. So that's the job of the liver. It just keeps replenishing and all that. Yeah. So once you have depleted the liver, which is your refrigerator, you depleted that, then they have no choice but now I need to draw the fats. Now that's what we want to do. We want to actually draw the fats from our fat stores or the fridge, the freezer, right? And like I mentioned, it's not about weight loss, it is about fat loss. Yeah. If you don't give an opportunity to draw fat from fat supplies from your fat stores, then you will never lose your fat.
Right.
Yeah. What you'll be doing is just keep topping up your liver and your fat stores, and only using your liver, your refrigerator, without touching your freezer at all. Yeah. Or for a significant amount of energy supply. So that's where a lot of people they may appear thin, but they actually have a lot of fat inside them. Alright. Yeah. So our role when we do intermittent fasting is that by extending the period of time not eating, what we are doing is that we are depleting our liver. Remember I told you, once you deplete your liver, now the body has no choice but try to grab it from somewhere, and that somewhere primarily will be your fat supplies.
Saya rasa masalahnya masyarakat kita tak faham. Bila kita cakap nak bakar lemak tu, straight away cakap babak ni yang nampak kelebih-kelebih itu semua nak kena hilangkan. Padahal it has to nak kena letak fokus kita kepada liver kita, iaitu kita punya
Hati.
Ni kena masalah ni. Kita tak faham bila tu hati, mana tu jantung, mana tu paru-paru. Tu semua I think nak kena re-educate benda ni untuk masyarakat kita.
There needs to be some form of education. The problem is that education, at least in our community, is not really that prevalent. It's not that the opportunity is not there. Ada banyak, you tengok YouTube berlambak. Yeah, it's just that to put it into simple terms, into layman terms. That's why I appreciate what CNA was doing. That they are trying to do this so that at the very minimum we start people going. Kan at the end of the day, right? What are we trying to do? Long term, we are trying to make sure that we are moving away from treating acute problems to preventing problems. That is our Ministry of Health's vision, that we want to move our focus away from that, from treating acute issues. And that's why now you realize many advertisements or public service announcements about keeping healthy, going for health screening, all this. We want to prevent it, and definitely prevention is better than cure. And by showing all these shows where things are told in a very simple manner, right? And people are given strategies. So we don't talk so much about the science. We just tell you are a consumer of information. All right. You may not be able to understand the science, but just trust us. Do this way, and that's what they're trying to do. So that's why they just tell you eat this kind of food. Yeah. You don't eat after what time, for example. So these are very prescriptive in that sense. We just tell you, just accept it. We are almost going back to the days of old, right, where doctors say do this, you just do this. We are simply because we understand that currently there is information explosion, there is an overload. Even in the online sphere, people are arguing about what is the science behind this and what is the best method. No, they are splitting hairs over the smallest thing. But big picture, come on, just for example, reduce the frequency of eating. Just reduce each time we eat. Have healthier choices. Simple things. You may not understand the science. For those who are interested, go ahead and read about the science. But you may not understand. Just know that all this comes from a good place. Everyone wants all of us to be healthier, because ultimately being healthy, and I'm talking now from using my head as a clinician, being healthy is definitely better in the long term, physically as well as economically for you. Economic. Why I say economically? I mentioned that I was diagnosed with fatty liver, right? When I was diagnosed with fatty liver, my insurance will not cover any liver pathologies. That means they cakap kalau you happen to have anything else related to liver, I'm not going to cover you, just because of the fatty liver. So it becomes something. If you want us to cover, your premium just goes up exponentially. So it becomes economically unsound for me. So alhamdulillah, that's why after I went through this, I went for a rescan, and alhamdulillah, it disappeared. There's no more fatty liver, and now I was able to get my insurance, my health insurance, basically. So you realize who is it affecting? It's affecting our community. And the reality of it all is, in terms of socio-economic status, our community is not really that high up there. It's so we are unhealthy, we cannot afford healthcare, and it becomes a very vicious cycle. So this is a very good starting point for us to ensure, at least if not current generation, the future generations, to start adopting better lifestyles now. It starts at home. So for example, my children, they do get snacks, but curated snacks. Curated, by my wife and by myself. Yes, they get the occasional, Kit Kat. Sure, you do something good, you get a Kit Kat, right? But for most parts, before your Kit Kat, fruit. Have you eaten your fruit? No Kit Kat. It's like that, It has to start from home, and has to start young. Then they will start realizing that it is important.
Interesting. Curated snacks.
I like what Dr. Zul said about
making it simple such that even if you don't understand the science, you just try, just do something simple, small lifestyle changes, and over the long term you have big, massive health gains, and it affects your health in a big way, positive. I really love that. I think IF is one of those things that we so long as our community starts knowing about it, that Mak Saleh pun buat. You know, we used to own puasa. Puasa used to be our thing, right? But we've also gotten to the point where people might ask, kau nak aku sihat, kau suruh aku puasa je, tak makan je. You know that the hesitation, when it's actually to control your eating is actually something that was prescribed for us.